People are running around the streets, hacking each other to death with machetes, many of which are immigrants. House prices are through the roof. Many English people are moving out of the city altogether as it's a dystopian mess. And yet he wants more immigration. Take a listen.
The Conservative government wants to reduce immigration. Do you think you need fewer immigrants or more immigrants in London?
I've no hesitation at all in saying we need more migrants in London.
In the UK, almost 1 in 4, more than 15 million people now live below the poverty line.
Get them out! 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 Get them out!
You took the passion pills this morning, I say. There was loads of passion in you there today. Now.
Well, we have to get passionate now because it's a declaration of war. You know, Philip, we've been at this a while, and now it's really war. 1,500 going in here. You know, where does it stop? It doesn't stop. It's only going to get 10 times worse. So we have to get, you know, if we don't stand up now in the next 6 months, the country is going to be completely not ours, you know.
And this area, Tom, is, if you're not too familiar, I live around the corner. It's absolutely inundated with centres, iPads, with non-nationals, whatever national, Indians, Pakistanis living in apartments as well, legal immigrants as well. I'd say 80% of the population are non-Irish around here.
Yeah, there's no Irish people in it. That's what I says on the radio there, and your man says to me at KFM, I says, you go into the city centre, there's no Irish. Go to Tala, there's no Irish. It's none. See, all our kids are leaving the country. This is the big problem. Our women are paying taxes and they're up at 6 o'clock in the morning working, paying their mortgages. They can't afford to have a child.
Getting our kids ready for creches.
Yeah. So we have no chance. Our girls are only having 1, maybe 2 babies max, if they're very lucky. They can't afford to have them. But the Muslims and all that, the Islamics will come in here and they'll have 6, 7, 8, 9 and no bother. And could be 3 wives and whatever. And this is the problem.
Sweden has never been safer has been the slogan from the media and the establishment. And I am not here to censor myself. I am not here to talk around the issue. It is quite clear to everyone that has been paying attention that our issues stem from mass immigration. It is laughable that our government calls itself feminist while it's quite clear that women and children are the ones who are suffering in the most gruesome ways. I deem rape and suppression of freedom to be the most heinous of crimes that are happening within our borders today. And now we are here. The issues are severe. And a couple of months ago, it peaked when a woman, while carrying her baby, was shot in the head and killed. All of a sudden, it was a great time for politicians to condemn the crime in Sweden, but the damage had already been done and is being done all around Sweden. See, what happens when you bring in more people into your country than your country can handle? What happens when you bring people into your country that does not want to learn the language or adopt its values? It's an interesting dichotomy here in Sweden, where we are extreme in the social justice department with the feminist government, politically correct language, and things like gender-neutral daycare. But then we have a rise in sexual harassment and rapes, and gang rapes on the other hand. Some cultures we are bringing here have no respect for Sweden, and some have no respect for women. This is the hard truth. However, the problem is that many of the people who are coming here are not humble towards the fact that they are getting help from the taxpayers. There are too many people who never get employed. Too many people bring crime, spit in the face of Swedes, and live on the taxpayers' money. Sweden doesn't owe it to the world to save the less fortunate by bringing them here and letting young criminals burn this country down. Politicians are talking about hot food being too expensive for the elders, and they can wear blankets to justify lowering the heat in the elders' home because the municipalities can't afford to take care of them. At the same time that we are paying for people that never give back, we are spitting the elders in the face, the people who built this country. The people who have worked all their lives get worse treatment than the criminals burning cars who keep getting paid by the system. I am, of course, not insinuating that all immigrants living in Sweden are living on welfare. I think it's stupid to try and misconstrue my argument to petty xenophobia, because it's way too clear that the altruism that we strive for by letting too many people in is having dire consequences. It is not petty racism to talk about it uncensored. I am extremely saddened by this. I want to see change. I want us to have an honest discussion about this. I want the world to look into what happened to Sweden and not follow in our steps.
I'm a Lebanese Christian from the East, and you haven't seen how in Syria and Iraq they burn Christians alive, they crucify them for not accepting the Muslim faith. Today it's not Europe, it's not the case in Europe, but it will happen in Europe if you don't stop, if you don't take any measures against immigration. I want to live in a France that speaks French and drink wine, not in a halal eating France, and not the Islamic Republic in France. Thank you.
A newspaper poll suggested that the white French population in Parisian slums were afraid to take a metro ride home after dark.
It was at a place called Porte de la Chapelle. I definitely pronounced that wrong, but it is in Paris, and it is right by a train station where they constantly every day have a massive flow of migrants coming in from all over the place.
Ma question s'adresse à Madame la Première ministre. Au moment où notre pays vient d'être livré au saccage, au pillage et à une rage incendiaire insensée, je voudrais vous poser la question que se posent tous les Français. Qu'avez-vous fait de la France? Vous qui menez la même politique que vos prédécesseurs depuis 40 ans. Qu'avez-vous fait de notre pays en y implantant des zones de non-droit que vous avez laissé se communautariser, se criminaliser? Qu'avez-vous fait lorsque vous avez laissé prospérer l'ignorance de notre culture, l'hostilité à l'égard de l'autorité légale de l'État, l'illégitimité de nos lois et la haine de notre peuple? Qu'avez-vous fait pour transformer notre pays parmi les plus courtois, les plus élégants et les plus doux de la terre, pour en faire un enfer, où se consument avec les bâtiments publics qui brûlent toute foi en l'avenir? Ce spectacle afflige le monde entier et notre pays, qui fut tant admiré pour son rayonnement intellectuel et sa puissance, suscite aujourd'hui la pitié quand ce n'est pas l'ironie. Vous n'avez tiré aucune leçon des émeutes de 2005, pas plus du Stade de France, qui laisse augurer un désastre sécuritaire pour les JO de 2024 et avec lui une nouvelle humiliation nationale. La vérité, c'est que vous n'avez voulu entendre aucun avertissement. Ce qui arrive, nous l'avions prédit malgré une grande adversité, je le dis avec tristesse et gravité, nous avons eu malheureusement raison. Au moment où vous vous apprêtez à nous resservir à coups de milliards un énième plan banlieue, je vous appelle au courage de l'autocritique, à l'humilité d'admettre l'échec dramatique de vos politiques. Il faut d'abord et avant tout stopper l'immigration anarchique. Or, vous êtes en train d'aggraver le problème du communautarisme, voire du séparatisme, et de le disséminer dans le moindre village. Il faut ensuite reprendre la main dans tous les quartiers de France, rétablir l'autorité des parents, refaire de l'école le creuset de la République, rendre à la justice sa fermeté, sans laquelle elle restera impuissante à protéger les Français.
Merci beaucoup,
face au chaos
Madame la
sécuritaire,
Présidente.
économique et judiciaire, allez-vous enfin admettre que le seul sursaut possible est national?
Kadir Haydar. Burada! Mehmet Çocuk. Burada! Zekeriya Yattı. Burada! Yavuz Öztürk. Burada!
They support a radical form of Islam and reject democracy and freedom. Salafists. It's one of the fastest growing branches of Islam in Germany. That's what the Federal Domestic Intelligence Service says. In 2011, German authorities knew of about 3,800 Salafists in the country. 3 years later, that number was 7,000. And by 2017, it was 10,800. That's almost a trebling in 7 years.
Aslan bölgesi işi.
Und dazu heute auch unsere Telefonumfrage. Liebe Zuschauer, wir möchten von Ihnen wissen, der Islam gehört zu Deutschland. Stimmen Sie dem zu? Und wir haben ein Zwischenergebnis für Sie, was ziemlich eindeutig ist. 8% der Anrufer sagen ja, die Mehrheit, die klare Mehrheit, 92% sagt nein.
You simply cannot go to someone else's house and expect them to adapt to your rules. This is the mindset of most illegal immigrants. They want to come to great Western nations where freedom exists and impose their worldviews on the West. If you want to be in America, the UK, or Australia, to name a few, you have to abide by their rules. Generations of natives went through hell to build these countries to where they are now, and it's nothing short of a disgrace for entitled immigrants to shame these nations for not abandoning their culture and allowing them to do what they please in a country that isn't even theirs. Immigration is a dangerous poison that will kill the West as we know it if it is left unchecked. It's time to wake up and stand up for your nation, have boundaries, and don't be shamed into thinking that admiring your culture is wrong, because it's what made the West great to begin with.
Who's going to fight for countries they hate?
If UK was to go to war, would you join the military?
No.
I'm not from the country, so no.
First of all, I'm not a UK citizen, I'm an immigrant.
I'm Welsh?
No, unfortunately not. I'm not from this country originally, you know?
No. We're Irish, so...
We don't like the UK military.
No, thank you. Where are you from?
Brazil.
Do you live here?
Yes.
Would you go to war for this country?
No.
I'm Pakistani, so...
Are you a resident?
I'm a resident. I've got dual nationality.
You guys live in the UK?
Yeah, we do.
Would you join the military?
No. We're not from this country.
If they say it's compulsory, what would you do?
I'll just go back to Egypt. Go back to my country. Yeah, I'll just go back to my country.